What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe for hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop.
Good evening. This is 6th Element Hip Hop. I am Stu Dog, and this is Reno Noir, whose camera is cameraing right now, and he is.
You just started early, huh?
Yeah, he's now in effect, in the place to be. Got a special show for y'all today, as usual. Reno, take it away.
What's happening, broski? It is the sixth element of hip hop. Y'all already know. I'm your host, Reno Noir. This is your co-host here, Stu Dog. We in the building, and we got a great show. We got a show. It is Wars Wednesdays. We're gonna talk about several things: Mandalorian, season 3, Spider-Man Noir, Professor X, Guardians, and Rocket Racoon, and all that good shit with Luke and Grogu. We won't get into it and chop it up. Stu had found this cool Batman thing. Stu Dog, tell him about that shit. Let me find that shit.
It's this channel I watch on YouTube sometimes. I'm in the 80s nostalgia, 80s this, 80s that, man.
Yeah,
it was a good time in my life. I can't even lie, say it was. Everything was very imaginative, creative, and just magical to me. So when I find these things, I send them to Reno because I know he gets down with stuff like that. So I found this one channel, and they do artwork and mock-ups for everything 80s. So like they'll take The Dark Knight and say, what if it was made in the 80s? Or they'll take The Mandalorian and say, what if it was made in the 80s? And they give you artwork and everything. Sort of like Night Begins to Shine with Teen Titans. They just take it back to the 80s, but it's a modern thing, but with 80s look. And it's dope, and you got to check it out. I'm trying to get in contact with the creators of that channel, but it's hard, man. It's not a lot of information, man, to get in contact.
TKO? Yeah, we can reach them.
Yeah.
Let me see. All right. So yeah, what I'm gonna do. Shout out to TKO Productions who hooked this thing up. What I'm gonna do is instead of like trying to play the joint for y'all, we'll just share the screen and watch it together and hopefully talk about it, and hopefully that won't raise too many issues
eyebrows.
Yeah,
digital eyebrows. Yeah.
Right. Let's see if does it look better like this or like this?
I was still saying. Are you trying to make it bigger?
Oh, it didn't get no bigger, didn't change at all?
Nah, it didn't change. It got smaller now. Whatever you did, it got smaller. Okay. It was bigger the other way. Yeah, like that's bigger.
That's good.
It's bigger.
It's bigger now. All right. That's what she said when I said, okay. So it's the epic 80s Batman dark sci-fi movie that we never got. So yeah, like Stu said, it's this dope AI reimagining, and they sort of, they recreate Batman and different stuff from Batman, but in that sort of 80s sci-fi dark fantasy style. And it's hella cool. Normally we would show this on DC Day, but hey, what's up? It don't matter. What's up, Metaphysics? Salute.
Metaphysics, yo.
That's the 80s Catwoman. I mean, it's so 80s, bro. I love it.
It is. And it's dope 80s. Though. Look at it.
It is. I can't say nothing bad about it. It's cool, man. I wish they would wait. Is it okay? I wish they would change the characters quicker, but I'll flip through it.
Okay.
Now they going fast. Yeah, I love this Batmobile right here. That is sick.
It's like a Corvette.
Right. It's Nightwing.
It's Nightwing. Dope.
I assume.
Yeah, that's Nightwing. Look at the Joker. Look how scary. Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, that's definitely 80s. And Harley Quinn.
That's some 80s slasher film shit right there.
That is. in Gotham City.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate that, man.
And I guess this is the Riddler right here. I assume. Yeah, it's the Riddler. 80s
Yeah, that's
Riddler.
Riddler. Yeah. I
Smart.
guess
Now this
that's
is
Wayne Tower,
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
That's
Yeah,
peak right
Freeze.
there. I like that.
Yeah, Freeze look dope.
Some bat wings.
Yeah, the Batwing. Yeah.
Here's some the Bat Cave.
Look at his computer in the back.
Yeah. That was a dope Robin. Damian Wayne.
That's a dope Robin. I like that.
Bane.
Now be honest, man. That's the best.
It's not the Bane I would have done. It's cool.
But it's better than what we've got.
Yeah. Oh, better than anything we've got in live action. Look at that shit. That's what I'm talking about.
Look at that. That's from Dark Knight Returns.
Right.
Look at that Batman. Is he in a Batwing or is he?
That's
the Batmobile.
Batmobile.
Look at the Batmobile.
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
He's all technoed out. You got Penguin. Looking like Lips Manless.
Yeah. It's a teched up version of Batman from the Batman vs Superman.
Mm-hmm. Dope armor set.
Yep.
More Jokers. Joker looks awesome. Joker's always gonna look cool.
Joker's no matter what you do.
Yeah. It's hard to fuck Joker up. Look at that. Gordon.
Look at Jim Gordon.
Two-Face. I want to see Two-Face. There we go.
Two-Face looks good.
Yeah, he does. That was a hell of a lot better than what we got.
Yeah.
That Tommy Lee Jones shit.
Yeah, that wasn't
right there. Deathstroke.
Okay, Deathstroke.
Now, he fits so well in that genre too, in that 80s. I mean, Deathstroke just fits in that 80s. That 80s vibe.
Yeah. He does. Batman. Just his whole look at that Batmobile.
Yeah, it's like a Road Warriors type, Mad Max type shit.
Max type thing, yeah. 3 lights on one side, 2 on the other side. I don't know what difference that's gonna make, but it's dope.
Yeah.
Look at Alfred. Joker again on TV. On the CRT.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's just dope, man. There's Batman again at the back computer in the back cave.
Wait, that is a dope picture right there.
Oh, look at damn. Look at the gun he's holding.
Word.
Look at how different the cows. They made the cows look. But they look. That must be the Joker gang.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at the cows. Yeah, Joker.
You see how his teeth? You see the different? He's got like 2 rows of bottom teeth. I don't know if you can see it. AI generated art. You can always tell when it's AI generated because there'll be some jumbled up shit or something at the. My son was pointing out to me. You'll see like stuff be all scrunched together and stuff that a human wouldn't do, but the AI, that's the Joker game. Yeah, but the AI just makes what it thinks.
Look at Batman, Dark Knight, Axis Chemical.
Yeah,
the Joker again. Another Batman in the armor. Gotham City. Batman. I guess that's Harvey. Batman again, working with the police. Catwoman. Got a mask off. Yeah, that's just dope, bro.
Dope.
That's just dope. That looks that. I wish we could have got a Batman movie like that in the 80s.
This is the Dark Knight as an 80s film. Let me see if they did any. Yeah. More Dark Knight stuff.
Jim Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah, that Bane looks crazy.
Yeah, that Bane is dope. I think they should have made him look like that in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm. The Dark Knight trilogy, so it's just scenes
it's
from the
all
whole
Dark
trilogy.
Knight. Okay.
Yeah, the whole trilogy. And oh, and then that led me into I found this steampunk version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I watched that too. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it fits. I mean, it fits so well. Steampunk and Guardians fit so well.
It does.
I mean, I'm not really into steampunk or anything. I don't know shit about it, but it looks cool.
It's a deep culture, bro. It's real deep.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not into it, but I can watch it. But
Yeah.
they're just as big as Star Trek or Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read a couple deep steampunk anime type novels. Like
There's a
they got
free one you
one.
can watch on their YouTube. It's called Steam Boy. I saw it a long time ago. It was all right. It wasn't bad.
This shit right here. Woohoo!
What's that called?
Yo, look at Yondu.
Y'all look dope, bro.
Yo, these are crazy. Fucking super scroll. Fucking guardian ships.
That's a shit. I thought that was nowhere.
Yeah, it could be. Nebula.
Oh, it could be. It could be the big ship they were on. That
yeah.
I'm doing that.
That's right.
It's either that. Yeah, he's either that or nowhere. That's the only thing I can come up with. Is that Drax?
Drax look dope. He looked like. Oh, he looked like Globulus. Dude, that would be a sick ass Globulus fucking live action like that.
Hopefully, classifieds and give us Globulus and Corporal.
Yeah, classified's bugging the fuck out too.
I know. Man, after the video, I watched the video you sent me. Man, I was tripping. I was like, damn, bro. Kinslayer.
Called Kinslayer. It's this is book 2 of the Lotus War, but this is on some. It's crazy. It's hard to fucking explain. Let me see if anybody breaks it down good. J. Christoph pushes the steampunk genre exactly where it needs to go, away from Victorian London's overtrodden lanes and into the great wide world. It's a deep immersion in Japanese culture. Yeah, it's like samurai ninja magic mixed with shogun, mixed with fucking steampunk and all of that shit. It's the closest to steampunk that I've ever come to getting into steampunk or anything steampunk.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's dope. It is.
I think the only thing I've ever watched or read steampunk was Steam Boy. It's an anime came out.
Never heard of it.
Steam Boy. Yeah. So if it's free to watch on YouTube. You go on YouTube, hit the free to watch movies, type in Steam, it'll come right up.
Right.
It's good. It was really, really good.
That's dope. That's dope. Patrick Stewart confirms Marvel Studios return. Basically, it's like I was saying before, Professor X is back, baby. I love this picture. I love this picture. I mean, you know, he's one of the. I mean, there's only been 2. He's one of the only 2 Professor X's that we've seen. And you know, Giancarlo Esposito playing him is also, you know, sort of being toyed with, you know. shout out to Carly to Giancarlo right there, is him being Professor X would be interesting. I wouldn't be mad at it. But Captain Picard coming back as Professor X, that's pretty cool. That's priceless. But basically, what they said was ever since he showed up in the MCU in Doctor Strange, in the Multiverse of Madness, people have been speculating like what's going to happen with his version of the character Professor X. You know, as it was previously teased, that we could see him back, and now Patrick Stewart himself is says that he's on standby. He said Marvel Studios has told him to be ready officially. So again, this comes at us directly from Patrick Stewart. He's been making the rounds, talking pretty much anywhere and everywhere with regards to everything that's going on in his career. And obviously the big thing right now is Picard season 3, which last trailer I saw was bananas. Stu, I'm sure you're probably watching it. But speaking with Comic Book about upcoming projects and stuff, but he said that he's not allowed to talk about anything that's currently going on, even if he knows the details. And of course, we already know how that goes. But and much of what he doesn't know, he doesn't want to speculate on. But when they brought up Deadpool 3 and other upcoming Marvel projects like Secret Wars, he said, and I quote, "I've been told to stand by. I know nothing more than that. Honest." End quote. And he's not the first actor to say this. Multiple actors in the past. Paul Bettany is one that comes to mind to me, because he said it in multiple interviews. Marvel Studios calls you and says, "Hey, we're gonna need you. Not telling you what for. Can't tell you anything about it. Clear this schedule. Clear these weeks, this periods of 6 weeks or whatever, 18 weeks off your calendar, because that's it. Marvel will be calling." And no actor is going to be like, "Well, I don't know. Depends on who it's, what it's." You're just going to be like, "Okay, clear my fucking schedule." And, and you have no idea what you're being called in for, or if they're going to be calling, going to scale it back or anything like that. Or, and you just clear your schedule because that's contractually what you're obligated to do. But what he's saying here is nothing new. He's been told to stand by because something's going to happen. But again, he doesn't say what. But more likely than not, most people, if we just kind of use deduction, right? Just kind of use the old process of elimination, we go, okay, it's Deadpool 3. It's got to be. I mean, he's part of Logan, he's part of that whole thing. It would make perfect sense. I don't want to see him like be the new, just like I don't want to see Hugh Jackman be the new Wolverine of the new MCU X-Men stuff. I don't want to see the Fox characters come back in the MCU X-Men. I just, not that there's anything wrong with it. We did that. Like, I want to see something new. That's all. And
just want some fresh meat.
I just want some fresh meat. But with Deadpool 3, Hugh Jackman coming back, multiverse action, anytime there's any multiverse, anything with the X-Men, I definitely want to see Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. Definitely, of course, because they rule that universe. They rule that section of the cosmos. But like, let's see something new. But yeah, like it makes sense, why he would appear in Deadpool 3. But who knows what else? We don't know. We've heard rumors about him possibly showing up in other multiverse issue situations in other projects, possibly Doctor Strange 3 being a quick turnaround time, and that there's some rumors that it might happen this year, it might not, we don't know. But it looks like, he's on standby, so we're going to be seeing him soon somewhere else. Who knows how big of a role or who knows how important, but it's happening because he confirmed it, and I'm happy about it. That's it.
Yeah, plus I think Patrick Stewart fit that role the best.
Yeah.
That was a good choice when they first made it.
Yeah.
I think they should continue as long as he can play, because he's up there in age.
I know.
Watching him in Star Trek. I know, watching him in Star Trek and Picard, man. I mean, I can see it. Like I'm looking, I'm like, damn. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, I'm like, man, like there's less
same thing with
there's less action. Yeah. I don't know how Sada said it best. I don't know how they're gonna pull this off. But whatever they do, I'm excited to see.
Harrison Ford has a show two shows right now.
Does
That are
he?
playing. Yeah, 1923 is the prequel to Yellowstone. He's been. I've watched. I think it's up to season or episode 6 or 7, and maybe it's 8 or 9 actually. But yeah, he's been in every episode, like all through it. It's not a cameo. It's his show. And then another show that he's in a little less, but he's still in it. He's in every episode, just not like the main character. Is a show called Shrinking, and that's on Apple TV. Him and what's the guy's name? Jason, the guy from How I Met Your Mother. Anyway, Jason Segel.
Uh,
Segel. So Jason
okay.
Segel and Harrison Ford, they got a show. It's a comedy called Shrinking. I've been watching that too. It's pretty good. But yeah, him, Patrick Stewart, they're getting up there, and you know, de-aging and stuff like that works for the face, but like you can see their bodies and you can see how they're moving a little different, and you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's
Yeah.
like that
Now you
Indiana
right.
Jones thing, man. I don't know. Like, I guess he ain't gonna be
Yeah.
doing no jumping and rolling and sliding up under doorways and shit, swinging on lips. We ain't doing that this time. But
Nah.
yeah.
And you can tell by the way he moves. Like Patrick Stewart, you can really tell, bro. If you, I've watched. I watched the first 2 seasons. I start watching this third season of Picard, but you can tell, bro. He from Star Trek: The Next Generation. So now you can really
Mhm.
tell, man.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I'm
Slay's got a
just
point.
amazed at how they pull it off. What? Now that we going custom St. Patrick's Day.
And this is
That's
the
true.
same thing with Harrison Ford. I mean, they're so
Yeah.
good at what they do. We don't care if they're barely able to stand up. Like,
So would you be on board for another Indiana Jones after this?
another one after this?
Yeah, like they
I don't
do it.
even
Let's
know
say
if
they
I'm
do
on
this
board
one.
for. I don't even know if I'm on for this one.
Or let's
Shit.
say they do this one, right? And it
Right.
comes out good. Let's say it's a blockbuster success. It makes the money they wanted to make.
Yeah.
And they announce another one. Would you really be on board for seeing him do one more?
It would only depend. No.
No?
No. I was gonna say it would depend on like how well he appeared in this one, but I already know how he appears in this one. Because I know just how I know where he is. I've seen, like I said, I'm watching him in other shows, current stuff. I mean, even in Star Wars, when Kylo killed him, even then he was too old to play Han Solo. But he did his thing. Um, but nah, I wouldn't want to see it again. But if they did, I would want to see a new guy as his son taking on the role, and he falls back as like the man in the chair, like the guy that like control, the guy that he's just like the old guy. He's Alfred, right? He just kind of hangs around. He does it. But seeing him run around and jumping off, Nazi tanks and shit, it's like, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. But seeing him in the movie, yeah. I mean, anything with Harrison Ford, I'm gonna see it. I mean, that's
But
what I
not the
feel.
action stuff. So you
Yeah, I
saying not the
mean,
act like an acting job. Like if he was
yeah,
doing an Air
right.
Force One over again on that type of
It's like this. I mean, do you want to see that? Like, who wants to see an old guy? It kind of it's almost like you feel bad for him. I don't want to see him do that. That's not even cool. Like, there's no integrity there. You know what I'm saying? There's no respect and
right.
pride. Like, he got to have some self-respect, and he does. He does. He carries himself, and he tries to, keep himself doing shit that doesn't make him look silly. He doesn't want to look like a old guy trying to be young. Um, he's not that dude. So, we won't see. I don't think we'll see Harrison Ford go the route of like a Sylvester Stallone with all the plastic surgery and all of this. I don't think Harrison's with all that shit.
Yeah, cause he's what? He's
He's like a
80.
man's man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 80 now. Patrick Stewart's 82. And
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise is 60 and he's still doing Mission Impossibles.
Is he
He's got a part
60?
one. He's 60. He got a part one. This new one is part one to a part two. Um, I don't know how long he can do Mission Impossibles, but he don't look 60 and he looks good.
Yeah, I didn't think. I mean, yeah, I'm surprised that he's only 60. Tom Cruise. I thought he was a little bit older, but
The-
Yeah, he looks, but he looks crazy. He looks incredible for his age. I mean,
He does.
but who knows
He
if
really
that's
does.
real?
That's true. That's true. But he is 60. He is
Mhm,
you can tell sometimes
mhm.
when you look in the movie, you can look in his face and see the makeup, and you can tell, But the
Yeah,
action stuff, I don't know how long he's going to continue to do that, and he does his own stunts. So I don't know how long he's going to continue to do all that, man. But we'll
it's hard
see.
to
Time
say.
will tell.
Yeah.
Speak. I meant to ask you a question too. Speaking of, you brought it up the other day. Um, Ant-Man and Quantum Mania. I've been reading the uh the scores and everything.
Oh
They said
yeah,
it's gotten the lowest score since
Black Adam. Or something?
what was the other one? The one that you don't like?
Oh, Watiti, Love and Thunder.
No, not with Love and Thunder. The other one with the Eternals. They said it's got
Eternals?
the lowest score. They said it's got the lowest score since Eternals, and Eternals had
Yeah,
the lowest score of any Marvel movie ever.
yeah.
Um, and it's just a
Well, I,
lot of
what I
mixed reviews on it.
what I think
Well,
about
Rotten
that is I
Tomatoes. That's the score Rotten Tomatoes gave it.
yeah, I don't. I put zero stock in that. I couldn't care less. I
Yeah,
don't
me
think
too.
about
And
it.
Rotten Tomatoes.
I
Yeah.
critics,
No, I'll put.
yeah, critics all have an agenda. They're
Yep.
not being honest. They've got an agenda, and whether it's an agenda of whatever, or it's just their own personal trying to show off how good a writer I am, or whatever, or how witty I can be, or how I can trash a Marvel movie and I'm cool. It's just like you can't go by that. So I don't listen to those. I don't listen to them at all. Um, I wait till I see the movie, but I think a lot of it again is just agendas and whatever and nobody's seen the movie. Only critics have seen the movie and like I said,
Yeah.
dude, you can't get nothing honest out of a critic. So when we start seeing audience scores, then I'll be like,
I've
okay,
only I've only
then
seen
that'll mean something.
one. I've only seen one YouTube audience score, and the guy wasn't. He wasn't nowhere. It was four of them, and they weren't nowhere near as hard on the movie as the critics were. Like the one guy was saying how he went 7. He went with his boys.
And that's only
He
some
said,
critics. A lot of the critics are
right,
praising it. A lot of critics are saying it's
yeah,
phenomenal, and they're all even the ones that are trashing the movie are praising Kang and Jonathan Majors
Kang,
and
yep,
saying he killed it.
everybody, yeah,
So,
everybody
it can't
says
be
they
that
love
bad of a
Kang,
movie if his
right.
role was so great.
Everybody says that. Now that's one thing they stay consistent on. Everybody
Yeah.
says no matter how bad they, good or bad, they say the movie is. The one thing they say is when Kang comes into the scene, the movie it just it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But me personally, I think it's just overanalyzation. And I think when
Mhm.
it comes to
Right.
Marvel movies, we any movie that we just overanalyze, and that's just this
Mhm.
culture. But the one thing I can say that I do agree with is that they all said one thing. There were two things that stuck with me. One was Jonathan Majors, and two, Marvel needs to ramp down. They need to pipe down the jokes. Um,
Yeah.
People are really getting sick of the jokes. They're
Well,
saying it doesn't make sense. It doesn't carry the movie. And they're just
MODOK
Guardians of the Galaxy. It was good. Now MODOK, they like. They said that even though he doesn't look like the MODOK we're traditionally used to seeing,
I was gonna say a lot of them
he's
are
still
hating on
he's
MODOK,
still
saying that
yeah.
he's just a clown. They're saying he's just goofy. He's just too funny. He's just joke, and he's not even serious. But MODOK's not really a serious character. He's always been
No.
kind of silly. So, and they've done a lot of comedy shit with him lately. So I can definitely see them doing more comedy with MODOK. Personally,
Yeah.
I
But
don't
people
want
are
to see
trying they want
comedy
him.
unless it's the only comedy I like is James Gunn's style. Like when James Gunn does
Oh,
comedy,
with the
it hits.
Guardians.
Guardian shit, Suicide Squad,
Yeah,
Peacemaker.
that was
That's
good. Yeah,
that's
peace.
comedy that mixes with comics and it's okay. Taika Waititi, no, that's the wrong style.
Yeah. Well, Taika Waititi's supposed to do one of these new Star Wars upcoming projects. Hopefully, he doesn't ruin it. But I'm with these guys when they talk about toning down the comedy because you got to
Yeah,
take Thor: Love and Thunder. It was a serious thing. We loved it, and then it just was like, all right, what happened?
dude, I was
You
so
know,
hyped for that movie. I was dying for. I thought Thor: Love and Thunder was gonna be the best thing since fucking Guardians 1. I mean, I really thought it was gonna be the shit. I thought it was gonna have fucking a lot of Beta Ray Bill action. Like it just that movie was so hyped and Ragnarok was so good that I
Yeah,
thought,
it
okay,
was.
it's gonna be as good as Ragnarok, but better. I mean, we just went the total opposite direction. They took all the worst parts of Ragnarok, amplified them, and gave us a whole movie of it. No
Now,
thanks.
when you say Beta Ray Bill, here's another question for you. If you had to pick between Beta Ray Bill and Jane Foster, what would you have took in the movie?
If I had to do what now?
Pick between Beta, like Jane Foster was kind of like the centerpiece of the movie.
Right.
They actually, I think they wanted her to outshine Thor, and that's why we start saying MCU.
Well,
Uh,
she is Thor. She took over Thor's mantle. She is now Thor. Thor
right,
wasn't Thor anymore.
right. Now, if you had to take somebody else to take the mantle, because we know somebody else did, which is Beta Ray Bill. Would
Yeah.
you rather have Beta Ray Bill or Jane Foster?
Seriously?
I'm just asking. You
Of
might
course.
like Jane
Beta Ray
Foster. I
Bill,
don't.
of course. Beta Ray
Oh,
Bill.
I don't know. You might like Jane Foster. I don't know. I don't know. Anybody in
No,
the comments? Would you
listen,
rather have
no,
Beta Ray
because
Bill or Jane Foster?
I mean, Jane Foster in the comics is cool. I mean, the comic version of all that stuff was fine. I mean, I didn't, have no problem with it, but that movie was just bad, bro. It was too bad. It's hard to say. Drax will die for sure in Guardians. I don't think Rocket will. I'm wondering if Quasar will appear to form a new team. Maybe the Annihilators would be dope. Beta and Sif movie would be dope. Yeah, it's not looking like the movie is definitely about Rocket saving Rocket. That's sort of what the tone of the movie is about. It's the High Evolutionary is Rocket's sort of father, his creator. And we've got the genetics, you got Lila the otter and all of that coming in. So it's all going to be about the High Evolutionary and his clones and his genetic experiments and all of that stuff. And if you're wondering what the exact core theme storyline of Guardians 3 is, don't need to speculate because Marvel Studios official synopsis for the upcoming movie reveals basically that it's about saving Rocket's
I
life.
like it.
And so this comes directly from Disney, who recently had an update, of course, teasing what their next big film is all about. After Quantumania, obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to get a major marketing push as it's the big, summer kickoff and it's their big yearly May release. And, so in the synopsis, they tease the Guardians' third adventure and, of course, what's going on with life on Nowhere. And they say, but unfortunately, their lives aren't exactly going, well as they find out that Rocket's past is quickly going to catch up with him and that he actually may have like a time limit or a set time limit on his life. Like the High Evolutionary um, determines how long his creations are going to live, like gives him a end date sort of. And like they find out that he's got this end date coming up. But and then that mission, is going to be so dangerous that it could potentially lead to the end of the Guardians as we know them, and of course we know it will. And like Norin Rad here said, Drax is done. Drax is gonna die, probably by Adam Warlock because we do get to see him fighting Adam Warlock in the trailer. If you go back to the trailer, you see him and Adam Warlock actually throwing blows. Um, like I said, High Evolutionary was obviously involved with the creation of Rocket. My guess that most creatures that he worked on sort of have that dead set expiration date, and they're going to be basically racing against the clock trying to get to him or whatever task they have to get to or whatever he sets them to do or whatever it is. And this will put them literally on like a collision course with him. And basically you've got the other side story with Gamora sort of coming and having to play into this, of course, because this is not the Gamora that Star-Lord had the relationship with. She didn't even know him. And you gotta imagine how torturous that must be on him because here she is, and they were madly in love with each other, and she basically has nothing but resentment for him at this stage, this new version, because this is not that same Gamora. So they'll have to incorporate her into the team. That'll be a big thing. Star-Lord sort of trying to get her to fall back in love with him, obviously, and stuff like that. Now, of course, Adam Warlock is the third big storyline that's going to be part of this movie. And that's that's the part that I'm most excited for, because it's a dope character. And you know, not that any of this shit ever turns out to be like the comics, but if it does, it'll be awesome. um, and so, and then we could see how sort of these three big pieces that they're setting up have to converge at this one point, and that'll be the movie. I think it sounds incredible. And it's awesome that they were, teasing and more or less confirming this. And yeah, Rocket is really one of the main characters of this, and it's been rumored, it's been hinted at, and James Gunn has said it, but people haven't believed it, but now it's in the official synopsis. And so it's awesome that we get to know we're going to get way more Rocket, which again has been hinted at since the first Guardians film. I mean, and we never get enough Rocket, so this will be a great movie, or a great, rocket centric movie. And very early on, James Gunn was saying that, by the time we're done with the trilogy, there's going to be a bigger emphasis on Rocket. He said that. And so now we know it's here, and I'm excited to see what they have to do, and I'm really excited to see who's going to be the remaining Guardians, because it seems like that we're definitely going to lose, I think, at least two by the sounds of it. So Drax,
Mm.
and who knows who else. I would think Rocket, because it seems like it would make sense. It's what they're talking. But then again, that could be the red herring, and it could be that they're going to end up saving Rocket and, making that sort of the twist that no one expected, kind of
Right.
thing. But
I
yeah,
would
Drax.
say if I had to put a finger on it, I would say Drax and Gamora, because Gamora she's out of place. And remember in Avengers Endgame, the the Sorcerer Supreme told Hulk, like, look, whatever you take, you got to put back, because remember Thor had to return Mjolnir. And it's
Mhm.
like, look, you got to put whatever you take out of this time, you have to put it back. It cannot stay. So that's why they had to return all the gems and Mjolnir. And the same thing with Gamora, she's got to go back. She died. She has to go back. So we'll see what they do with that.
Yeah.
Loki even
Well,
taught us that they have to go
yeah,
back.
I think that, and I think that's sort of leading up to as Nora said, I'd say Star-Lord. I don't think it's Star-Lord. I think it's Gamora. I think it's Drax and Gamora. That's my bet. That's what I'm putting my money on,
Yeah, I'm putting mines on that too. Yeah.
just because Gamora, Drax, we kind of already know, and the actor doesn't want to do it anymore, so that kind of works out for everybody, and so that I'm pretty sure of, and we do get to see him fighting and stuff, but Gamora already has died. You see what I mean? So Guardians, Star-Lord, they've already dealt with the death of Gamora. We've already seen them have that pain. It wouldn't be a big shock. It's something they could probably deal with because they kind of already dealt with it. And maybe because she's not really the same Gamora, it's not going to really break Star-Lord's heart because they're not really in love anyway. And like you said, Stu, that her not coming from that timeline, and them having to fix the timeline, maybe that'll be an aspect, and they'll have to get rid of her. Maybe she doesn't die, but she goes back to that timeline, and in fact dying in a way because the one sort of died. It's hard to say, man. But it's definitely out of
But
Drax, Gamora, and
because when you think about it, Reno, if you
Rocket.
pluck her from that timeline, she can't
Right,
do all the things that she did in order to meet the Guardians in the first place.
right,
So like, but with the one who remains being dead, he was the one that kept all of that in order. So
right.
they should have pulled her, and she should have been a variant. They should
Hmm.
have pulled her already. But since Loki and them killed the one, we got it. Like I said, with Kang and all this, we really got to see how this is going to be handled, because Gamora does
Yeah.
not belong. Yeah.
And the God of Mischief is coming back to our TV screens soon. We got following the release of Disney Plus's Loki in 2021. It was confirmed that they were doing the second season. We already knew it would be part of the MCU's Phase 5, which kicks off with Ant-Man, and then taking place after the events of Avengers Endgame. The show Loki will follow an alternate version of Loki after he's created the new timeline. And throughout the first season, the alternate Loki works with the Timeline Variance Authority, the TVA, to help monitor the timeline and eliminate other time variants. And, Gamora being one of those time variants. But along the way, he sort of, meets some friends, makes some interesting acquaintances, the different Lokis and things, and including the time variant of himself, and leading to the introduction of He Who Remains, which is a version of Kang, played by Jonathan Majors as well, who created the TVA to prevent a multiversal war between variants of himself. And one of those said variants, Kang the Conqueror, makes his MCU debut in Ant-Man in Quantumania. And so with that new character introduction, basically everything you know about season 2 of Loki is Hiddleston reprising his role, Gugu Mbatha Raw as Ravonna Renslayer, Owen Wilson as Mobius is back, Sophia DiMartino as Sylvie again, Eugene Cordero as Casey, and Tara Strong as Miss Minutes, the little clock. So while Jonathan Majors' return is not officially confirmed for Loki 2 yet, Marvel head Kevin Feige teased that the whole cast would be back, so we can assume that means Jonathan Majors Kang variations again. Additionally, Raphael Casal from Blind Spotting and Kate Dickie from Game of Thrones have been cast in roles that we don't know what they are. But Marvel has not officially released a synopsis for the season, but the writer Michael Waldron sort of said that there'll be an emotional arc for Loki. What he said was, in creating the show in the first place, that's the only way it's worth doing to me, is that we can find a way to tell a new story with this character. He said it felt like we had a new emotional ground to cover with Loki. That's the only way into season 2. We absolutely found that. It's a great continuation of that story that feels different from season 1, and hopefully will subvert expectations. And then filming, they already started filming in June 2022 in the United Kingdom, and they wrapped filming in October. So it's done, and there's some set photos and shit, but some of the season appears to take place in the 70s, so it's going to be like a 1970s throwback, based on some of the costumes that we've seen in some of the set photos. And there's only 6 episodes, so it's not, it's just a little MCU joint, 6-episode joint. The duo Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who previously worked on Moon Knight, are set to co-direct most of the 6 episodes of Loki 2. So if you liked the style of Moon Knight, it'll be similar to that. Eric Martin is also slated to write all 6 of the episodes, so at least they'll be cohesive. I don't know if who he is or how his writing is, but one writer, at least we know it'll be consistent. Yeah. So, and it will start, it's going to start coming out this summer. Loki 2 will come out this summer. No exact release date yet.
Man, this summer.
Yeah.
I hope so, man. I really do. I hope so. Loki was good. Loki was a real surprise, man. It was a real breath of fresh air, but it was also well written. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, Quasar would be a good way to do that. But you're right. Hey, they don't care about source material. I just wonder where it goes from here. Yeah, they're not gonna do. Yeah, Magus. I mean, Infinity Crusade, Magus. That's all. Who knows, man? Because Secret War. Who knows where they're gonna go with any of it? They're not doing a 4. Yeah, this is definitely the end of the trilogy. It's a trilogy. Young Avengers. Yes, they're definitely doing something with it. Because they've already introduced all the characters. And
Yeah, they have. You know what? I was looking at that. Yeah, they have introduced damn near all the Young Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oops, there we go. So one thing I'm super hyped about, super excited about, is Spider-Man Noir has been greenlit by Amazon. It's going down. It's going to be a new series. Amazon is definitely it's they've confirmed it. I know I was mentioning it at some point in the past, like hoping that this was going to happen, and hell of happy to say Reno Noir is hell of happy that Spider-Man Noir is coming out. But yeah, I mean, Amazon's moving forward with it. It's a live action Spider-Man Noir series. It will reportedly focus on an older, grizzled superhero in the 1930s New York City. It's not Peter Parker. Okay, it's fucking awesome. It's 1930s gritty Spider-Man Noir, alternate version of a Spider-Man. And we first saw this in the 2009 Marvel comic series Spider-Man Noir. A comic version was set in 1933 as a freshly bitten Spider-Man navigates New York's Depression era criminal underworld and think mobsters and bootleggers and cool shit like that. And the character, who exists in a separate universe from the mainline Spider-Man stories, also appeared in the 2018 film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where most of you will have seen him. And then he was also debuted in a video game called Shattered Dimensions that I fucking loved.
No,
Dude,
bruh. And
Shattered
all the
Dimensions.
remakes they do, they never did
I
one for
know,
that.
I know.
That
Like
and
that was
Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was the best ones. But that Shattered
also
Dimensions, you got to play.
don't forget the one with all the symbiotes. What was that called?
That was the Ultimate one. That was the Ultimate one
No,
with
no, no.
Venom.
Hold on.
You get to play as Venom, wasn't it?
Hey, Blake. Blake, what was that Spider-Man game with all the symbiotes? Yes. Web of Shadows.
Yes.
Web of
Yeah, Web of
Shadows.
Shadow. Yeah.
That was
I
hard.
forgot about that one. No, you're right. Because I was thinking about Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate
Mm,
Spider-Man was good,
that was
and
a good
that
one too.
that had Venom in it. That had Venom in it. You could play as Venom. And
Yeah.
Web of Shadows is dope. Web of Shadows, I think, wasn't that
Web of
part?
Shadows.
Was that
Everybody
was
with
that part
symbiotes were
two?
everywhere. There
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
I think it
yeah.
was a sequel, but yeah, it was yeah, everybody was symbiote. We had symbiote Wolverine in that bitch, symbiote Electro, all kind of symbiotes. Everybody was symbioted the whole city. And that and Shattered Dimensions was you had like 4 different sections, right? It was 2099. You got to play as 2099, Superman, Spider-Man,
Noir,
Noir,
Spider-Man Noir,
regular
regular
Spidey.
Spider-Man, and I forget the other one. It was
What was the 4th one? It was 4.
uh
I
fourth one.
don't know.
It'll come
But
to me because I played the hell out of that game.
I'll ask Blaze when he comes back up. But the report doesn't mention whether Nicolas Cage is going to be involved in the project. And I don't know, like if you would have asked me if I wanted Nick Cage to play Spider-Man Noir in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, I would have been like, hell yeah. But Nick Cage lately, I don't know. He's been doing some weird shit, and I don't know if he can really pull it off. I don't know. I haven't seen his last movie, and I will be honest, because his last movie they said was pretty good. I can't think of the name of it. It had a bunch of
You
weird
know,
shit going on.
not to cut you off. Not to cut. Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man. That's
Yeah,
right.
Ultimate Amazing 2099 and Noir. Yeah,
Yes.
those are the 4. Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, but so Nick Cage was doing the voice in Into the Spider-Verse, and but he said that he wasn't asked to return for the sequel to Spider-Verse Across the Spider-Verse. He wasn't asked to play Spider-Man Noir in that, so he might not be coming back for the live action also. You were doing the
That's
meatballs.
crazy.
Yeah, meatballs. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. But yeah, as the as yet untitled series, which Spider-Man Noir would be a fucking dope title, but it doesn't have a name yet, but it will be on Amazon's Amazon Prime. It'll be the second Amazon project based on a Sony-controlled Marvel superheroes after the upcoming Silk Spider Society, which is another Spider-Man show I'm going to tell you about in a second. But Oren Uziel will write and executive produce the show. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse alumni Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and Amy Pascal share executive producing credits, and Sony does control the rights, of course, to Spider-Man and all supporting characters like Venom, Carnage, Vulture, Black Cat, all of these. And in addition, it works with Marvel Studios on the current MCU film franchise starring Tom Holland, which there's, blending in a way. But they've also, and Amazon has also ordered and has moved forward with other live action shows, spider shows specifically, with Silk Spider Society. So Silk is again another version of Spider-Man. It's a female version of Spider-Man. It's going to be developed by the Walking Dead showrunner Angela Kang, along with the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse producers Phil Lord and Christopher Mang. And Kang will serve as the showrunner, not Kang the Conqueror. Angela Kang will serve as the showrunner to the executive and executive producer on Silk. But a lot of people in the comic industry were like scrambling to get Silk comics and get the first appearance of Silk and all of this because this show is coming out. And she's a Korean. Yeah, she's a Korean American woman bitten by the spider, the same exact spider that bites Peter, and she escapes imprisonment and searches for her missing family and becomes the superhero known as Silk. And yeah, Silk was huge. Her name is Cindy Moon. She's got her own couple of series. So yeah, it's huge in the comics world. The series and other shows based on the Sony-controlled Marvel stuff were originally purported on being in the works back in 2020. And, of course, at that time, Lauren Moon was writing Silk, while it was reported in 2021 that Tom Spacely had joined the series as showrunner. So it's gone back and forth with a bunch of different people, but they've settled on someone now. And the producer was saying, we can't wait to bring the adventures of Cindy Moon to life, thanks to the creative dream of Chris and Phil, Angela and Amy, along with our partners at Marvel and Amazon. We know this exciting series with a new, never-before-seen characters and storylines will wow audiences watching first on linear MGM and then around the world on Prime Video. And this will be like our first, comic book show not on Disney Plus, I think, in a while. I mean, Marvel comic book show, since Netflix, really. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be cool to see some shit on Amazon Prime. But yeah, I think so. Silk will come out first, I'm pretty sure, because they're I think done filming it. And yeah, Spider-Man Noir is on deck next. Super excited about Noir.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah. Live action series, second known project.
I mean, yeah, they should do a good job. I mean, Amazon hasn't really dropped the ball much. They did a pretty good job with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
When they started really, nobody was really impressed because it was a whole lot of story that we didn't need, but it got good. By the end of it, it was all right. It was good.
Yeah,
but it was slow. I was like, if this don't speed up, I'm definitely not gonna finish watching this.
No, sir. Well, the X-Men. Oh shit! I wanted this picture. Oh no, hold on. All right, so you guys got to see this. So I've talked to you a lot of times about Jonathan Hickman's X-Men, Krakoa, all of that good stuff. Yes. Yeah, just cook those first and then do the pasta. Manja. All right, so yeah. All right. So Storm, this is what I've been trying to spit out last few seconds. Storm is the new Magneto. Yeah. Crazy shit. So she's wearing the white Magneto outfit right there. And get ready, y'all, because this is nuts. Let me see what's going on here. Spider-Man's with guns is awesome. Hell yeah. It was dope. It was dope. All right, so cool fan. Oh, this is a cool fan made film. For that, I can share the link. Okay, here y'all is a cool fan made film. We'll check that out in a sec. Maybe I can get it up there. All right, let me get that down. So yeah, this is cool. So spoiler alert for the Brotherhood of Mutants #1. Sorry, Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #1. I'm like exploding out of my skin for this fucking book. I can't wait. Storm is serving as the antagonist to Mr. Sinister's evil X-Men during the Marvel's current Sins of Sinister event that we talked about before. And she's received an appropriately Magneto themed makeover to accompany her new role. And she isn't the only one who's changed either. Arakko has undergone a similar Magneto style transformation and acting as the resistance base for Storm and Brotherhood, and the last bastion against Sinister's control over the world. And Arakko is the other. It's like the upside down in Stranger Things with Krakoa. So it's there, but it's like in another plane. So you've got Al Ewing, Paco Medina, J. David Ramos, and I think that's like two of my favorite authors right there. They're doing Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #1. Wastes no time establishing the new status quo. A decade after Mr. Sinister took over Krakoa and the Quiet Council, his mutant chimera forces have laid waste to Arakko and reducing the planet to rubble. Storm, now clad in Magneto's classic cape and helmet, leads the few surviving mutants from her base built atop a floating remnant of her former planet, planning her resistance against the X-Men from the newly, renamed Asteroid S. Magneto's legacy is tied closely with his most infamous, this base of operations and the space station Asteroid M. So appearing as early as 1964 in Stan Lee and Jack Kirby X-Men #5, Magneto's asteroid base was one of his old. It's constantly been destroyed and rebuilt over the years. You're serving both as the classic villain's lair, as well as the embodiment of all of Magneto's ambitions for mutant kind. Asteroid M was heavily featured in X-Men media, just games, movies, all of that throughout the 90s, early 2000s, and really emphasizing its cultural significance to the X-Men franchise as they're basically their villain's master work. And so with Storm is now in charge of her own Asteroid S, the comparisons are immediate and obvious. So not only is the rounded architecture of Asteroid S similar in design to the various incarnations on Asteroid M, Storm now sports Magneto's helmet and bracketed cape, albeit in her colors of silver and black. And while the helmet is an understandable choice for its telepathy blocking capabilities, the new design of her cape seems solely to emphasize Storm's new role as Magneto, basically. So Storm's role as the leader of the Brotherhood has been foreshadowed throughout the story of Arakko, and following her growing relationship with Magneto up until his death. So now, in the face of Mr. Sinister's usurping of the X-Men, Storm acts as a perfect inversion to Magneto's original role, a mutant with terrifying powers, standing against everything the X-Men strive for. And it may have taken a complete reversal of the status quo, but Storm, has now completely stepped into the void that Magneto left behind, complete with the classic villain makeover and her own lair from which to send her minions, man. I can't get enough of this new shit, man. This new X-Men stuff is just bananas. I love it. I love every bit of it. It would be great if they would ever adapt any of Hickman's stuff to the movies. Um, yeah, Marvel would really they would see a big shift in fans
Oh,
uh,
100%. Yeah.
pleasure. And speaking of that, speaking of fans' pleasure and whatnot, Kathleen Kennedy has recently blamed us again for what we're sexist. Well, no, we hate diversity. Yeah, we hate diversity. And that's why there's no hype around any of her projects. That's why no one's excited for the Acolyte. That's why no one's excited for Skeleton Crew. That's why no one liked her projects, her movies in the past, her shows. No one liked Obi-Wan. It's all because we hate diversity, apparently. Couldn't be because
Yep.
we can just want
Yep,
good
we do.
stories. But yeah,
Yep,
we
we
hate
do.
diversity.
Yep, we do. So give us
We
something
hate
that we like
women.
now.
Yeah.
Yep. So give us something that we like now. Give us women that we like. Give us diverse characters that we like. Give us things
Make
that
it
we
make
like.
sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it make
Don't
sense. You know,
destroy it. Right. Don't destroy everything we grew up on just because you want to you want to push your agenda.
oh, and then
That's
she
what we
said,
don't
yeah,
like.
that was another thing she said. She was like, we have to completely get away from George Lucas's stuff. Like, that's a big red flag for me. Like that means I'm right to not be excited for your projects. I know that your shit's gonna be trash. And no, Kathleen, it's not because we don't like diversity. It's not because we don't like women. It's because you forget about story and just shove all the different races and genders of people you can in the show just for representation with no story behind it. It's like she said something about using Star Wars to sneak her diversity in to trick the fans into absorbing diversity. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what she said. And like that, I mean, if you're telling on yourself, you're explaining exactly what our problem with you is. Obviously, we have no problem with diversity. Obviously, diversity is nothing new for Star Wars, by the way. There's always been people of color in Star Wars. There's always been strong female characters in Star Wars. That's nothing new. What you're doing is ridiculous. But blaming the fans for the fact that your projects suck and no one is hyped for your project is not the good look. It's not going to get anyone on your side. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I'm not, and she's right. I'm not excited about the Acolyte. I'm not excited about Skeleton Crew because I know what it's going to be. I know you use the Acolyte. You're using the Sith lore and all the stuff that the darker side of Star Wars fans like to attract us to a show that's going to have no story. It's going to have no emotion. It's going to have no character building. It's not going to have any sort of backbone. It's just not going to be. It's not going to be rich. It's not going to feel good. It's just going to be a jumble of different scenes of whacked up shit thrown together just for the sake of throwing it together. And they'll never. I mean, I hope they learn, man, because she can sit and pout and cry and complain and blame us all she wants, but no one's gonna ever like your shows because you don't care about story, you don't care about writing, you don't care about the lore, you don't care about the franchise, you don't care about any of it. All you care about is a different vehicle for you to promote diversity. First of all,
Right.
that's
And I,
lame. That's just
I was getting
lame.
ready to say, when did that become a thing? Like, how did, how did, Dave Chappelle said it best. How did the LGBTQ movement hijack civil rights to
Yeah,
the
why is
point
it a white
where,
woman
yeah,
and
to
gay
the point
women?
where it's just, yeah, where it's just overshadows everything. Like people sit there, like I was talking to my niece the other day, and she said that. She was like, well, you know, why it can't be more diverse? It's like movies have been diverse. We've been having female leads, strong lead characters. We've been
Yeah.
having strong. I don't get why now it has to be so profoundly profound and put in
Yeah,
your face that the movie's no good without it. I don't get that, bro. I'm never.
like
I'm
I
just
get
not.
through up through the 80s and maybe even through some of the 90s, but like starting in the 90s, movies started to diversify pretty big. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
action stars like Will Smith became the biggest action star on the planet. That's a black man. That would have never happened in the 70s or the 80s, but we're there now.
Jada
So it's like,
Pinkett became a big star. Holly
yeah,
Berry became a big star. Whoopi Goldberg in the '80s was huge, and
right.
she's a female, I believe. I mean, you can't sit there and act like this stuff never happened
Yeah.
or that we weren't already doing it. Like when she did Obi-Wan, literally I read that Obi-Wan series that we got was she just bit by bit took out everything she wanted and put in everything that she wanted in there from this movie that she wrote years ago that
Right.
they rejected. And we
Yeah.
still didn't like it now. So if we didn't like it then, why do we like it now? Why would we like it now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but and blaming the fans, that's just the lowest blow. Like,
That
don't
is
blame the fans because your shit is whack. Like, no, we're
right.
not boycotting your stuff because you are promoting diversity. Most of the people that don't like her stuff are black people and women and all the so-called people that she's beating to the fight. My son said something the other day. He was like, I get people, like allies fighting for causes, but if you're not black, don't lead the charge in the civil rights movement. Support it, fall back, but don't try to be the leader of it.
All right.
And with gay rights, if you're not gay, stop trying to be the vocal fucking fighting, social justice warrior, beating the gay people to the punch, because some of them gay people might have actually reasons why they're not doing what you're doing.
All right.
It's just, and that's what I see. It feels like she's just this cisgender white woman, and she's trying to, I don't know what, prove something to who, for
Yeah.
what?
Bill Burr. Bill Burr. If you watch Bill Burr, he had a comedy stand up where he was saying that. He said, when did white women hijack the whole social consciousness movement? Like they just hijacked it. Like he was like, I'm sorry if you're privileged white life was so privileged that now you got to hijack just to get attention. Like he was like,
Yeah,
I guess she gets mad that the attention is off of you and
yeah,
on everybody else, and that you want a piece of that pie. He was like, I don't know. And it's just funny. You got it. Yeah, just look up Bill Burr. You got to watch it. It's just so funny,
yeah.
but he's
No, Bill
right.
Burr is great. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. But so speaking of Star Wars and everything, Mandalorian season 3, it's gonna be
Can't
phenomenal.
wait. We
Can't
only
wait.
got what, 2 weeks? Only got 2 weeks for that.
Yes, round the corner. It's
Man, I
round the
can't wait,
corner.
bro. I
Um,
can't wait.
it's about to be nuts. It's about to be nuts. Now, a lot of people, complained, and I was one of them, that they had such a pivotal part of the Mandalorian story unfold in Book of Boba Fett, a completely other show, unrelated. And Jon Favreau is now clearing up any Mandalorian fan fears about Baby Yoda, because the Disney Plus series, that well, I think it was, yeah, Jon Favreau is the creator, him and Dave Filoni. So Jon Favreau revealed that Din Djarin and Baby Grogu had to reunite as soon as possible in the Book of Boba Fett to set up season 3 of The Mandalorian. In season 2, The Mandalorian finale, Din gave Grogu to Luke Skywalker for Jedi training, and they seemed to separate for what we thought might be a good long while, and we thought might be a cool arc that we would see in Mandalorian season 3, adding emotion to that scene. And that led a lot of us to expect that, they would be separated for at least part of season 3 while Mando gets involved with the fight to reclaim Mandalore. And I thought it would be great for Grogu to be training with Luke while Din is off fighting Mandalorians and getting his helmet and going to Mandalore and doing his thing. because having baby Grogu is going to be a hindrance with all of that stuff. So it would be great to have them on their separate path. Would have been dope. But Jon Favreau had other ideas. He said we couldn't just hit a hard reset. He said it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds for people who may not have seen the Book of Boba Fett. But I think the Book of Boba Fett offered time to pass. You saw what Mando was like without Baby Yoda, and we saw what Grogu was like without the Mandalorian, and neither of them was doing too good. End quote. And he continued, so them coming back together was a really good plot point that allows us to jump back into season 3 while maintaining the central relationship. End quote. Now, I think that this is backpedaling. I don't think this was planned. I think that he's trying to make sense out of what they had to do for whatever reason, because Book of Boba Fett was garbage and they were trying to save it. And I don't think this was planned. But, while Grogu didn't flourish under Jedi training, Favreau noted that the series had to service both things and show that journey for the character, which would have been a great season 3, John. Thank you. But anyway, just because this kid has this is a quote. So he says, just because this kid has the potential and had training, does he belong away from the Mandalorian? I saw it more like Paper Moon, where the whole thing is about delivering the kid to the blood relative, only to realize that whether genetically through her father or just through bonding, Tatum O'Neal has to end up with Ryan O'Neal. And that feels really good to me. And this little kid, Grogu, is given a decision to choose, and the kid chooses the emotional relationship and wants to be with the Mandalorian and passing up Yoda's lightsaber. Part of you wants to see him develop in that way, and part the other. He added, you have this interesting character who has Jedi training to some extent, Force abilities, but is also joining the Mandalorian culture, which we've established is something that you can opt into. It demands a lot. It offers a lot. Historically, Mandalorians developed all of those tools and armor and weapons to be able to counteract the Force abilities of Jedi. So as a storyteller, this offers tremendous opportunity. End quote. And the guy that plays Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, said he spoke about the aforementioned armor, like wearing the Mando helmet he said it was like going blind. He said your breath completely fogs up the narrow slit that you can see through, and there's no peripheral vision. He said it's ironic you can't see any facial expression because it puts you in the world so completely and instantly makes you makes the character feel real, but you can't see shit. End quote. That's funny, but we'll have to see, man, how this goes, because I don't know what the whole point of having Luke Skywalker come back and take Grogu was for what, just for no reason, like that meant nothing. Yeah, like
it's true. It's true.
I mean, I haven't complained. I haven't really had any complaints about Mandalorian.
Well, I heard the word on the street was that Kathleen Kennedy wanted Grogu back in the series, and Favreau was gonna bring him back, but not this season. It was like you said, he wanted him to go away and train and come back like strong, like come back, because remember Luke was like,
because he
it wasn't that he lost his powers. Right, yeah. Luke was like,
in the show. He just wasn't gonna be with Mando.
Well, he wasn't gonna be with Mando, right? But he was saying that, from what I heard, he was saying that Kathleen Kennedy kept pushing like, "Oh, we got to bring him back. Like, we got to bring him back." And he was like, "That makes no sense to bring him back when he just left. Like, why bring him back? And we just sent him off." And he was like, "I want to bring him back."
He planned it all the time. Now he's trying to act like they planned it all the time, and this is for story's sake, and this is why they had to do it that way, and it makes more sense. He's full of shit.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's full of shit. It's like you just said, man.
Because
Kathleen, pressure, Grogu, bottom line. But that don't make sense anyway, because Grogu would still have been in every episode of the show. It would have just been him and Luke. I really don't. I'm like kind of I'm like low key disappointed as fuck actually because I really wanted to see the Jedi, the new Jedi school that Luke was building in the Jedi Temple, and him training Grogu, and possibly new Jedi maybe coming to the Jedi temple that he made and all of that. But
Yeah, that's true, man.
are we gonna get any Luke in this show now? No. Like I don't know, man. Season 3 was supposed to be fucking switching between Luke and Grogu, Din Djarin and the Black Saber issue,
That
back
would
and
be
forth.
dope. That'd be
That's what
dope.
that was it. And now what's it gonna be? Is just gonna be Mando doing the Black Saber issue and Grogu's just there with him?
Yeah, because
Mm,
remember Luke was saying it was more
wait,
like making Grogu remember. Remember he
yeah,
was saying he had training
right.
and he was strong, but he just said he just didn't remember anything. And Grogu's like what 50, and
Yeah,
Luke's
he's
like
50.
what? Luke's like what? Like 30 or something like that in this.
Yeah,
By the time this is up, like 30 or
right.
40, like so. You know, he had to have had some training. There was no way
Yeah,
he could do some of the stuff he did and not have training.
yeah. Yeah, he learned some little stuff at the Jedi Temple before he got lost, for sure.
And no, yeah, no, we know about the Jedi's. If they took him when he was a baby, he was 50 by the time we see him in Mandalorian. He learned quite a bit, you know,
Yeah,
because remember Yoda was what 800 when he died,
right.
and Grogu's only 50. And you see how small he is.
Well, yeah, and speaking of his little Jedi abilities, so we've got this there was a scene leaked from season 3. I don't know, what clip it's from, but it leaked onto the internet. And basically it shows Din Djarin meeting with Grief Karga, which is Carl Weathers, the head of the bounty hunters guild on Navarro, and Mando explains that he's been exiled by his people for removing his helmet. Unfazed, his old friend offers Din the chance to settle down on the planet and be treated the way he deserves, finding peace with the child in the process, and basically living like a pimp, kicking back, enjoying the fruits of their labor because Grief's then made money, and so has Mando. But talking of Grogu, the short time that he spent with Luke Skywalker basically did give him a better grasp of his powers, and so we get to see him using his little force powers to steal a couple of pieces of candy or whatever it is out of the little dish. And but yeah, it's another funny and very cute moment, but also one that suggests that we'll see Grogu make use of his Jedi abilities a lot more in this season. And as for Din, he's determined to head to Mandalore and regain his status as Mandalorian. And with this meeting is basically a precursor to that, to him doing that. And so the journeys of Mandalorian and through the Star Wars galaxy are basically laid out here. And once well, let me see if I can No, that's not it. I'm gonna show y'all this fucking
This clip.
little scene. Yeah, it's a clip. So this is a clip from The Mandalorian from season 3, and I'm afraid that BoobTube is gonna give me shit about it. So, as I was saying, oh no, wait, that's not. I can. All right, here's what I'll do: is I'll play it with the little watermark on it and with a little tweak to the pitch of the vocals, and so we'll be able to watch the little clip. And like I said, it's just a little scene with yes, she does, bro. Uh, trying to sell toys. That's what they do. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Working on it, brother. We're gonna show this joint as soon as it uploads. But yeah, here we go. Now, guys, I don't think we'll get booted off YouTube for this because it's altered a bit. It's got a watermark on it, so they shouldn't have any problems. Who knows? Though? But if it does, you know what happens. We'll just restart the show. All right, here we go. Deleted scene. No, not deleted scene. Leaked scene.
As
leaked
I was saying, there's a beautiful parcel available right down here by the flats.
I appreciate the offer, but I have some matters to look after.
Well, I'm confused. I thought you had completed your mission, but you're still running around here with the same little critter.
It's complicated. I completed my quest. He returned to me. I removed my helmet, and now I'm an apostate.
Which is all the more reason for you to stay here with us. Where you're from, you may be an apostate, but here, you'd be landed gentry.
Did you see him eat the little M&M or whatever it was?
Yeah.
So the little bowl of stuff was kind of,
as I was saying,
by that watermark down there, that blue stripe. But yeah, he's got a little bowl of goodies, and he sort of force pulls a piece to his hand and eats it. Yeah. Grogu.
Yeah, we like Grogu, man.
Yeah, Grogu's great. I mean, he's awesome. He's Baby Yoda. You can't say nothing bad about Grogu.
Nah,
Pedro, yeah, no. But yeah, it's funny. He said you can't see out of that armor. So we'll probably see a lot more of Pedro Pascal's face in this season, because he probably will, use every excuse to take the helmet off. We know that part of this is about him having to regain his Mandalorian hood by not taking his helmet off. So is he going to adopt the new way of looking at it, where they don't have to wear their helmets all the time, that the kind that what's his name, the kind that what's her name follows? Or is he going to, go back to the traditional way, which I hope, but it really could go either way. It really could go either way. He said it's like putting a head-to-toe glove with weights on. It's ironic that you can't see any facial expression because it puts you in the world so completely. I guess he's saying that, if you could see his face behind that helmet, you would see that he's in character. But, hey, man, we don't want to see your face. We want to see the helmet. Okay, that's why Boba Fett was cool. Is the helmet. We don't want to see your face. I'm sorry, we just don't. They've continued to finesse and make it more comfortable, but it's like going blind, he says. Your breath completely fogs up the narrow slit you can't see through. There's no peripheral vision. If there's a hole, I'm going to fall into it. Yeah. Hey. I mean, I think every movie with a suit of something with a mask, every actor goes through this. You hear the same thing. It's always like never comfortable in them suits.
No, never.
But hey, I mean, but look, you got to be happy to have that opportunity. I mean, I know I would be like, fuck, I'm gonna wear this shit anyway.
What?
It's like, I'll be happily, like. Did you see the little piece of shit that went into the Buffalo grocery store and shot all the black people? You remember that? No, well, it was
happened like a year ago.
Guy walking around with the gun, like the first person shooter filming it. Yeah. He was recently in court, and the one of the victims fucking bum rushed and tried to fucking rip his head off, and I wish he would have got to him, but he didn't. But it was right. It was like every time I see it, I fucking get enraged, so I probably won't watch. But the woman is standing there talking to him and telling him, like, basically, how could you do this kind of thing, like that. And right around the time, she's like, we would never, black people, we would never just like get guns and just go to some neighborhood of some race and just kill the people just because they're that race, something like that. And with that, the guy behind her just like pushes her out of the way, and he just fucking rushes straight for the kid. But course, they stop him and everything, but you can feel the intensity. Let me see. Get out of there.
That's sad, man. It's
It is.
you go in the supermarket and randomly shoot people, man. You take people's lives, man. Those people have families.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what she was saying. She was like, we're just people. What may here, hold on. No, hold on. Let me turn it up so y'all can hear it. Hold on.
That ain't fair to say. You gonna come to our city and decide you don't like black people. Man, you don't know a damn thing about black people. We're human. We like our kids to go to good schools. We love our kids. We never go in those neighborhoods and take people out. Our kids. We never go in those neighborhoods and take people out.
I couldn't have been there, man. It couldn't have been me. The 19-year-old white boy who killed 10 people in a racist mass shooting at a grocery store in a predominantly black area of Buffalo last May apologized to the victims of the families and was sentenced to life in prison, which do they not have the death penalty? I don't think in New York, I guess. No.
We got too many people that think it's unfair. I don't think New York ever had death penalty, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah, they probably got. I've never heard of New York even putting anybody to death. To be honest with you.
Yeah. It seems like I remember that New York was anti-death penalty. But if anyone would have qualified, I think this guy would. But he got life in prison. And so what he says, I'm. This is the problem, and this is what really makes it so that much worse. And I've said this before on the show. I don't believe that these racists would be racist if they thought about it. If they actually met someone who wasn't white and had a conversation. A lot of these people have never met anyone that's not white, and all they do is see shit on the internet and they hear this shit and they don't know, so they make up these. So this kid says, I'm very sorry for all the pain I forced the victims and their families to suffer through. I'm very sorry for stealing the lives of your loved ones. I cannot express how much I regret all the decisions I made leading up to my actions on May 14th. I did a terrible thing that day. I shot and killed people because they were black. Looking back now, I can't believe I actually did it. I believed what I read online and acted out of hate. I know I can't take it back, but I wish I could. And I don't want anyone to be inspired by me and what I did. They won't. And yeah, and there's a picture here of him leaking snot and crying like he's a fucking victim.
Sad, man. It's just sad. I had almost forgot about that, man. That whole incident.
Yeah, me too. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Piece of shit. Yeah, but that, like I said, man, I had totally forgotten about that too, actually, until that popped up today. So Just
And
really,
my father once told me, "Be careful what you do illegal," because he said when you go to jail, you have a long time to think about it. A long time to think about what you did wrong. He used to
right?
always, he used to always say that he's black. It's just he used to always say it's better to just get a job and sell drugs. It's better to get a
Yeah,
job than to go rob people. He said because when you get locked up,
yeah.
you have a long time to think about your mistakes.
Well, that's perfect advice, bro. Because he ain't wrong. Um, I don't know, if anyone knows from experience, but yeah, it's they say crime doesn't pay or whatever, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people get money and stuff, but even as a drug dealer, even as someone making lots of money, even when you're out there hustling and you're doing well, right? You got rims on your car, you got a system, you got paint job on your whip, you got a nice house, everything clothes, jewelry, everything is lovely, but you don't enjoy it. You don't, and I'm gonna tell you, you don't. Like, no matter how much you have, you don't enjoy it because the whole time you're looking over your shoulder, you're constantly paranoid about the cops, you're constantly paranoid about the law, and you just really never get to enjoy it. All that shit you see in the movies, it's not real. They're not really enjoying it. In real life, them gangsters are not really enjoying it all the time. Because most of the time they're worried about cops and different shit. And if you don't like jail and prison, just don't do it, because one thing that you have to accept if you want to be a hustler, if you want to sell drugs, you want to have a life of crime, you just have to accept jail time as part of your life. And then some guys do. Some guys, I'm sure Stu, totally they've accepted that. It's like that's just part of my life. It's what prison is just it's part of the job. It comes with the territory. So if that's not you, don't even try it because it's inevitable.
This is true. This is
It's
true.
inevitable. But yeah, they at another point, the man in the gray sweatshirt that bum rushed Graydon, the kid Gendron, I think. They took him out of the courtroom and everything. After a short break, the kid returned to the courtroom, and the judge restarted the hearing. And the judge said, "We cannot have that in the courtroom. We must conduct ourselves appropriately because we are all better than that." And in the end, the judge sentenced the kid to life in prison of the terrorism and murder charges and offered a stern rebuke of him. And the judge said, "There is no place for you or your ignorant, hateful, and evil ideologies in a civilized society. There can be no mercy for you, no understanding, no second chances. The damage you have caused is too great, and the people you have hurt are too valuable to this community. You will never see the light of day as a free man ever again."
Wow. He shouldn't. I don't think he should. I think they
19
should
years
bury him.
old,
I think they should lock him under the damn jail.
under that bitch. And the district attorney was after court. The sentence put legal closure on the case, but not on the broader issues. He said it certainly does not put any closure on what we need to do as a society and community going forward. Justice was done with a small J today, but we still have a big J of justice to do. And yeah, he's right, because this is a problem that isn't just about this specific kid. Like he said it. He said, "I just believed what I read on the internet or whatever." So the obviously the problem is a societal one, not and people that love to claim, "Oh, racism doesn't exist. Racism is over." When? The the guy the man who rushed at Gendron is the son of one of the women who gave an impact statement during the hearing. She said
Oh wow.
later. And the woman, Barbara Mapps, is the sister of Catherine Massey, a 72-year-old woman who was killed in the attack. She was giving an intense statement when the attack happened, and she was saying, how good, this good woman and everything. And the woman, Barbara Mapps, said, I want personally to choke you Your little punk ass decided to come here and kill black people. And Flynn said the man will not be charged with a crime, of course, explaining that he did not want to compound the tragedy. After sentencing, Maps said her son rushed at Gendron out of solidarity with her. And she said he wouldn't have went up there if it wasn't for me. He saw me emotional, and I'm his mom. We're close, and this is the way we were brought up. You hurt one of us, you hurt us all. And other families of the victims offered more somber memories of their, loved ones, and criticisms of Gendron's violent actions and hateful ideology. And many of the victims' families voiced that they wish for Gendron to be sentenced to life in prison rather than the death penalty. So the shooter will have to suffer with his thoughts for the rest of his life. And there is something to say to that, Stu, because personally, I'd rather be put to death than spend 40 years in a prison. So it's almost like
that's the whole reason. And that's the whole reason behind it, man. I mean,
right.
Yeah, he's got to suffer, man. That's going to be a living hell.
Yep, it will. Yeah, and the son of one of the victims, I think, said, "One day I hope you find it in your heart to apologize to those families. I pray to God they do not kill you." Yeah, you need to be known worldwide. What, I'd forgive you, but I forgive not for your sake, but for mine and for this black community. Christopher Braden, who said he was shot in the leg, he saw dead bodies on the floor as he was led out of the supermarket to the hospital, said, "Visions haunt me every day." Suffers from night terrors and post-traumatic stress from the shooting. What else? Yeah, he is dealing with the pain that I, his mother, cannot bear. On that day, this terrorist made the choice that the value of a black human being meant nothing to him. Whatever the sentence is that he receives will never be enough. Yeah, this is a lot more. Sad. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna continue down this road, but yeah, it's a lot. But hopefully, this generation will make the changes and stuff that we started but didn't finish. Oh, before we go real quick. So Jodeci, I didn't know about this. So we might be losing. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. So JoJo's performance from Jodeci has left the fans kind of worried because I guess he looked pretty bad at this last performance. He's sick. And
yeah, I heard about that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been open about his health struggles, but when he appeared at this concert, they were fans were like, "Oh shit!" Clips of the video have been circulating on social media with Casey and JoJo singing the hit singles, and Casey saying to JoJo, "You got this!" Like, after telling fans to give some love to the '90s R&B staple. One outlet, however, suggested that he had a stroke because he was up there stumbling and fumbling. But dressed in all black, JoJo stood before the crowd with his handlers. One stood over him, fanning him, as the other helped support him standing. And fans quickly noticed something was wrong. Yeah. I hope we don't lose JoJo, man.
I know, man. It's sad, man. I mean, even though they made it, they're well known, things of that nature. You got to take. P said it best. You got to take care of yourself. And he said he was a victim of that. Like, he said he used to drink whole bottles of Henny, smoke weed all the time. He wasn't eating right, and he got hospitalized. P had sickle cell. He said that was killing him, man. He said the last time he was in the hospital, yeah, it was like early 2000. P was like, P said he stopped smoking, all of that. He said he used to smoke cigarettes, weed, drink Henny all the time. He said I had to let that go. He said it was killing me.
Yeah, I had a homeboy that we used to see him like he would come around and he would always be real frail and gentle and stuff like that. And then, You know, it'd always be times when he would just not be around, and everybody would just know he's probably in the hospital. And we go up there, he'd be in the hospital and shit. And he just spent a lot of time in the hospital, man. Sickle cell is no joke. He spent many days in that motherfucker.
Yeah, one of my son's friends was like that, man. Darren. Rest in peace to him too, man. He died young, bro, in his 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever he would go to the hospital, it was the same thing. Like you said, you know, my boys would be like, "Oh, where's Darren at?" Next thing you know, "Oh, he in the hospital." They would go up there and see him all the time. And they would always tell him, you gotta stop this, you gotta stop that. You know, finally when he decided to stop, his life was cut short, man. So take care of yourself, people. Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself, people. That's right. Well, it's what is it? It's 8:15. We have been currently on for an hour and 40 minutes. Real quick. I don't want to be in. Yeah. Maybe 5. Yeah. You've been in jail 5 times. Yeah. I've been too many times. Yeah, it's not good.
Nah,
Anytime is too many, but yeah, it's so yeah, guys, we did the damn thing. We talked about Professor X, we talked about Rocket Raccoon, Spider-Man Noir, Mando 3, Storm as Magneto, and this Saturday, guys. Sorry, what'd you say, bro?
You gotta keep us up to date on this. I'm gonna be honest, I've been trying, I've been trying to read X-Men. It's just, I don't know, man, bro. It's too much for me. See, you read them, and then that's right. After you read them, I like hearing you talk about it, because then that's where I get it from. When I try to read them, I just can't. It's like an overload of information that's hitting me at one time, and I can't do it. But then I'll ask you, or I'll bring it up on here, and then you'll dive deep in the weeds, and I'll just sit here and be like, all right, that's what's going on. All right, all right, okay.
Yeah.
See, that's how I've been getting it. Because not saying it's a bad comic, it's just the way it's written and format. It's just too much for me, man. I don't know what it is. It's never been like that, but just reading it.
I mean,
but you do say that. You do say that a lot. You do say it's a lot. Yeah.
Well, Jonathan Hickman, the way he writes is very. It's a lot. He has what are called Hickman's white pages, where it'll just be a blank white page with text from top to bottom, and there's always like 2 or 3 of them in every comic. So, because it's a lot. Like, he has all this backstory, a bunch of scientific shit that you have to understand and all that. But so every Monday, guys, every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, we're here at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Saturday is every Saturday is DC Day. So we'll be here at 6:30 on Saturday. Be talking about things like DC has the James Gunn's DCU slate rumored to be bait for a potential buyer. Allegedly has a secret plan in case Apple, Amazon, or Universal gobble up Warner Brothers. The Flash movie, they removed all the scenes with Cavill, and we will see what they're doing with that. All 5 of the confirmed DC Elseworlds movies. Also, James Gunn has revealed the new actor for Batman in the DC universe, and it's not Affleck, it's not Keaton. Yep. Flashpoint. We're gonna talk about Flashpoint.
Yeah.
That's right.
We definitely gotta talk about Flashpoint.
Oh yeah. Well, Flashpoint Superman, from the comic, the Todd McFarlane has a DC multiverse figure that's fucking bananas. We'll definitely check him out and talk about that. New posters from the Flash movie, all that good stuff. James Gunn shares a cryptic tease ahead of the DCU reboot announcement, so we'll check that out too. But lots of good stuff for Saturday, so y'all know where to find us. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be there. Peace.